Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life and More Plus. Today, we bring you a very special conversation around a theatrical production that will surely resonate with all the audiences that go to watch this play. It is a play titled Jaane Pehchaane Anjane, and it is produced by Anupam Kher Studio. Premiering at Kamani Auditorium on May 22, it explores love, loneliness, emotional distance, and complexities of human behavior in today's world. Joining us today is someone whose grace, whose intelligence, whose artistic depth have made her one of India's most admired performances. And she's actor and educator Swaroop Sampat. Remarkable body of works across theater, television, and cinema and education. She continues to inspire through performances that are layered, honest, and performance driven. Welcome, Swaroop.
Hi, hello, thank you. What a nice intro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. I was
It's a
so
pleasure
looking
being
forward
here.
to talking. Yeah. So tell me about Jaane Pehchaane Anjane. What drew you to it?
Well, the main thing that drew to me it was Anupam Kher. Okay,
Okay.
so it was his
Hmm.
offer. Um,
Hmm.
you know, um, which audiences probably don't realize because it's like I'm ancient. I have
Hmm.
about a 5 decade journey in theater.
Yeah.
I started at 16 and a half, 17 first by doing costume design and set design for a professional
Okay.
company for the Indian National
Okay.
Theatre, where my dad was the chief producer. And when I tell my boys, I tell them, listen, it's more than that because, I went to rehearsals with dad and, I would go to the shows and all that, even as a little kid, as little as 5 and 6. So,
Okay.
theatre has always been my home. um, then at a certain stage I stopped acting because I did my PhD and I got so involved in education. So the last play I did was with Paresh, which was called shadi@barbadi.com, which we rehearsed
Okay.
25 years back, and the last performance I did was nearly 22 years back. After that, I produced Kishan versus Kanaya, Dear Father, Godse, um, and my son Aditya Raval's plays, with our new company, 72 Degrees East, called Siachen and the Queen.
Hmm.
But, being a producer, doing sets, costumes, and all that is not equal to acting, right?
Hmm.
And that was
Hmm.
something I really missed. And to be
Hmm.
very truthful, Rajkumari ji, I was like sure कि अभी कभी acting नहीं करूंगी मैं. I didn't
Okay.
think I would be doing a play ever. In fact, I'll tell
Hmm.
you something is that about a year back, I gave away all my, wigs and theatrical makeup and everything to Paresh's makeup man, saying, "Ye aap rakh lo," because I don't think I'm going to act again. But
Okay.
maybe God and the universe had something different for me because they knew my heart, and
Hmm.
that my heart is in acting.
Hmm.
That's my
Hmm.
passion. I love it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Anupam ji came up with this offer, and I
Hmm.
said, Anupam ji, I don't think I can do it. And he says, I'm sure you can do it. Go and see the
Hmm.
play. It is made from a
Hmm.
Marathi. The idea is from a Marathi play, but then, the way Anupam ji and the director Gajendra ji have developed it, it has become, it's not the same. But, maybe the storyline is the same. So he says, go and see it. And you know what? This role fitted to the T. It's such a beautiful role. I think it's the best role in the play. There are lots
Okay.
of other characters. And another thing about this play, which I know you may think, is a little funny. And, Anupam would probably say, don't say that, is that, um, now I don't want the full responsibility of the play on my shoulder. Do you understand?
Okay.
I want to do it for
Yeah.
fun. I want to enjoy it,
Hmm. Hmm.
because, there is a person cannot do groundbreaking, earth shattering work in everything, right?
Hmm. That's true.
And the kind of work I'm doing in education, the tough life I have there,
Hmm.
like sometimes you're getting up at 3 o'clock to present a paper, which is
Hmm.
being presented in Brazil. So,
Hmm.
it's not easy to do these things, like I've
Hmm.
traveled to
Hmm.
the remotest parts of India, like Nandurbar,
Hmm.
and, the villages I've taught there, lived in villages. So that is
Hmm.
already tough. Now, if you expect that I do tough here, tough there, it's not working. Another thing
Okay.
is, yeah, another thing, I'll just say this last and then finish off, is that,
Hmm.
when I was young, yes, I wanted to be, like the best actress in the world. But today, I'm one of the top 10 teachers of the world. And, now I don't have to do that in acting, right? So I can
Hmm.
relax,
Hmm.
enjoy myself, and follow my passion.
Hmm. Hmm. So, between acting and education, what do you prefer, or what draws you more?
No, you can't ask me to choose. I cannot choose that.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
something, if you told me give up one thing,
Hmm.
it won't work, because
Okay.
everything I do in education is to do with drama and films and acting and
Hmm.
arts and painting.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
like just now, I've released these incredible art integrated books, which
Okay.
have, where you learn math, science, social studies, all through arts, drama, and, painting and music and, things like that. So I'm already using that life here, so I'm not
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
away from it. You understand?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
So
don't
that's
ask me to choose. I can never choose.
okay. Means that's a huge amount of work that you're doing. So
Yes.
one question I would probably have asked you towards the end of the interview, I'll ask you in the beginning. How do you manage all the
Uh, One of them is time management.
work?
That's for sure. I'm great at that. And I'm
Hmm.
very, correct. I know how to do things. I'm very creative. So,
Hmm.
time management works very well. Like,
Hmm.
I know how to do things faster. Like just now, for example, I'm not doing this on the cell phone, which would have been very boring for me. I said, no, log into the
Hmm.
camera, computer, desktop, sit
Hmm.
down comfortably
Hmm.
and do it. You understand?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's how you save energy, you do these things. And
Hmm.
another thing is that I definitely, you may think I'm sounding very weird, but I'm a very spiritual person. I'm religious, and I
Okay.
believe I've God's grace.
Hmm.
Like He's blessed me. He's saying, "Ja, beti,
Hmm.
ji le teri zindagi aur kar jo tujhe karna hai." Kind of. And I,
Okay.
in return, go to the temple every time
Hmm.
and say,
Hmm.
"God, मैं आपका काम कर रही हूँ. Please bless me." So yeah,
Okay. So that's your key to working so
yes, I
much
think
work.
so. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So we'll come back to the play. See,
yeah,
in today's world, like where people are more on their phones, like digitally connected, you have like thousands of friends on Facebook and other social medias, but you're not connected to your neighbors
right,
as much as a person is connected digitally to the world. So,
right.
in this time, do you think that this story of the play is especially relevant? Is that one of the reasons the play is
I
being done now?
think I think this play is relevant for all times. In the senses, it's about loneliness and companionship. And,
Hmm.
people don't realize that at all ages you need it. you
Hmm.
know it's not as if you're young then you don't need it, or you're middle aged
Hmm.
and you become mature and now you don't need it, or you become really old and now you don't need it. You still need
Hmm.
friends, you need companionship, you tend to be lonely. And in more so in this world of the of all the social media,
Hmm.
it can become very lonely, because you're seeing people portraying, oh, we are not lonely. that's a lie, and then
mm,
the person who is not there with friends all the time, say, hey, this is she's with friends all the time, I'm lonely. You know what I mean?
mm,
So it's a very difficult
mm,
world we are living in. And
mm,
this is such a beautiful play about people who sometimes you've known all your life and they're still strangers, and then how strangers become your best friends. So
mm. But this idea of like middle-aged or older people having relationships or wanting to have relationships, which is like not at all a bad idea, but it's a good idea, in fact,
yeah,
that as you say that it will keep off the loneliness away. But do you think that it is workable in India?
of
Like
course
abroad, you
it is.
see older couples,
Definitely,
people. Hmm,
definitely. You see now, and now what's happening is that,
hmm,
let's not say negative all the time, but, the kids are going away, maybe
hmm,
not even abroad. Like there must be so many North Indian parents whose kids have come to, Mumbai to work.
hmm,
So they are there for them. It's not as if they're not. Or there
hmm,
are people
hmm,
who live in Mumbai and the kids are in Delhi and working all over the place, maybe in
hmm,
Pune for that matter. So
hmm,
this
hmm,
age has done that, where
hmm.
pehle to ghar ka kaam tha, like you would do, your family business, so you would be with your parents. But now everybody doesn't do family business. So
Hmm,
now the older people definitely need, friends and all. And there is this very wonderful book. Of course, there's no
hmm.
reference of this in the play or anything. This is just something I'm sharing with you, called A Man in Search for Meaning.
Okay.
And, the author says you need a reason to live. And,
Hmm,
women usually have reasons to live. Like, सुबह उठ के अरे दूध लेना है, गरम करना है. I
hmm,
live in Juhu, where we have this beautiful Krishna ji's haveli. Haveli जाना
hmm,
है, लाल कृष्ण भगवान को उठाना है, उनसे उन भजन गाना है. As if God really needs you to wake him up, or feed him. बट नहीं नहीं, मुझे ये
hmm,
करना है. अगर मैं ये नहीं करूं तो कैसे होगा? मुझे
hmm,
माला बनानी है. Now
hmm,
these are small reasons to live. Like he talks about this girl in the concentration camp, and she would look at that
hmm,
window, out of her window, and she saw this tree and one leaf, and she says, I'll live
hmm,
till it blue, till it grows.
hmm.
And then when it's grown,
Yeah.
she says, I'd live till it becomes orange. And then it's fallen, no, I'll
Hmm,
live till another tree leaf comes back. You see,
hmm,
these are reasons to live, and that is the
hmm,
subtle message in here.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Does Indian society, see, I'm asking it from your experience in life. Is Indian society, has Indian society begun accepting this sort of a thing?
Friendships, yeah. You'll be so
Hmm,
surprised. uh, and
hmm,
I was like, you don't say that, I got shocked, okay, but I was a little, I said, oh my god, really? So there is this
hmm,
very famous, like there's a friend of ours. He's not an actor or
hmm,
anything, so I mean, I that's why I corrected myself about the famous bit. And
hmm,
his mother was like 980 something plus. And she would
hmm.
tell us that, I think I want to find a boyfriend. So
Okay.
obviously she's not talking about sex, excuse me,
Hmm.
but somebody
True,
who
true,
she,
true.
and she loved dressing up, and she would drive a car,
Hmm,
and she would tell us, we were all girls together with her, and
hmm,
she'd say, let's go
hmm,
and have coffee, let's dress up and go, and
hmm,
oh god, and I am terrible. Like I'm sometimes so sloppy, not sloppy, but like casual about it. I'd wear a t-shirt and jeans and okay, but
hmm,
she would never be. She would be perfectly wearing a silk sari and put up, and her eyebrows would be done, and she would have put kajal, and she would have put lipstick. And I tell her,
hmm,
auntie, my lipstick lasts a lifetime, because मैं कभी कभी
hmm.
lipstick लगाती हूँ. So she says, no,
Okay.
no, you should dress up. So This
Hmm.
is what I mean. And she actually told us, I wish I had a
Hmm.
boyfriend, who I
Hmm.
could, meet up for coffee or maybe go for a film with.
Hmm.
And, so,
Hmm.
maybe through this play, people would have the guts to go ahead
Yeah.
and form
Hmm.
friendships with the opposite sex. And I don't see any
Hmm.
harm in it.
Hmm.
It's,
Hmm.
it's,
That's
I
true.
don't see, come on.
Huh.
Yeah,
Gender, I think, should not be such a big
exactly.
awe.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you know what? We
Hmm.
kind of accept,
Hmm.
bhajan karne ja rahi hain, wo mandli hai, so it's good. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Nah, nah, nah.
Ah, ha,
Like if
ha,
she
ha.
said, okay, I want to go out with the boys, then she say, aapko boys ke sath
Hmm.
kyun jana hai? You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
always the conversations are different, right? In the
Hmm.
park, I
Hmm.
do that sometimes while
Hmm.
people are walking, and you suddenly
Hmm.
walk behind a group
Hmm.
of men, and suddenly it's
Hmm.
so interesting. Oh, they're talking about stock exchange, and they're talking about politics, and
Hmm.
oh, this is right, and that MLA and this legislature, and ye
Hmm.
stocks gir gaye, ye beche, ye kare. The whole conversation is different. It's not
Hmm.
that we women can't do that. I'm not saying that,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
the conversation is
But
different.
uh, but that is one part of life.
Yeah.
Through the play, what I feel is that you want to say that there's more to life than this. There's more to life than a particular age.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Hmm.
You
So how
should.
important it is? Hanji, boli boli.
No, I think you should keep on blooming and growing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And like one person wrote such a lovely review, and I mean, I don't want to read out the exact line. It was really nice, and he said that
Hmm.
she said that
Hmm.
towards the later or the end of life, towards that age,
Hmm.
Mrs. Desai, that's my character, is like a flower
Hmm.
blooming. Isn't that
Hmm.
beautiful? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like you
Age
don't
should
think,
not be the
okay,
criteria.
yeah, now she's 70 years old, flower,
Huh.
she can't be a flower that's blooming.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
Yeah.
Very sweet thing. Very
Yeah.
sweet thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. So, uh, don't you think that we should have more such conversations around women,
Yeah, we should.
such
Around
plays,
why women, even men,
men?
like
Yeah.
I'm sure men like to
Huh.
have hamara pagalpan. Like Paresh sometimes is so serious, and I'm giggling and laughing all the time, and he says, "Mad or what?"
Hmm.
So I'm, yeah, don't be serious. So I think
Hmm.
women bring a different character into the friendship,
Hmm.
and men bring different.
Hmm.
So you need
Hmm.
both, don't
Hmm.
you?
True, true.
Yeah.
And while preparing for this role, how much work did you have to do? Or you were like that in your own life also, so that you didn't have
Yeah,
to
no,
work
no, I'm
much?
not like this. Mrs. Desai is not Swaroop Sampat at all. She is
Okay,
a very different
okay.
person. So I had
Hmm.
to, I have a very cute way of working. I never went to NSD, I
Hmm.
never went to a theater school, but I learned with some of the
Hmm.
greatest actors like
Hmm.
Shafi Namdar, Sarita Joshi, Praveen Joshi. I learned with them.
Hmm.
Then my first films were with Utpal Da and Amol, and people like that. So who
Hmm.
I'm naming the theater people because their look
Hmm.
is different. And what I used to do, what I used
Hmm.
to do then is, I would just get so involved in my character that I would imagine this real person who is that, like a real
Okay.
person who's Mrs. Desai. And then if I open any magazines or I looked at a person and say, oh, this is what Mrs. Desai would do. This is the kind
Hmm.
of bag Mrs. Desai would carry, whether she's carrying a bag or not. You know, if
Okay.
Mrs. Desai
Okay.
is cooking, she probably cooked food like this.
Hmm.
She would have flowers like this, or so this is what I do. I get into the soul of the character, the heart of the character, everything, like
Hmm.
beyond the script. There is a silent script, and that
Hmm.
silent script is what I would be working on, which I did this time too. you know
So it's continuously evolving script, or it is like you prepare
No,
it like beforehand?
no,
This
no.
is
The script is evolving during the rehearsals.
hmm,
Your internal screen script is evolving, in during the rehearsals. Your actions, your movements, all that is. But I personally feel that maybe after the second, third show, you should put a stop
okay.
and not keep changing things. You know what I mean? You do the
Uh-huh.
same thing. You do it with at total belief and conviction and fully
Hmm,
challenged. You can't ever go
hmm,
into a play saying, today
hmm,
I'm not worried, my heart's not beating, I'm not
hmm.
scared, I don't care who's there. No, the day you do
Still
that,
scared?
believe me, not scared, but I'll tell you what it is. Let me finish this. The
Butterflies in
day
the
you
stomach?
do that, yeah, butterflies in the stomach, that that
Hmm,
excitement, that heart
hmm,
beating, actually, that
hmm,
the heart
hmm,
beating, the day you
hmm,
don't feel it, there are days when you don't feel it, and that is the day you
hmm.
probably perform the worst,
Okay.
because you just gone into it a little casually, maybe not with that, you know
Hmm, hmm,
that butterflies, the heartbeat, the excitement, the stomach, something happening in your stomach is very important,
hmm.
because if it doesn't, then it's not going to work.
Yeah. And how much, what is, how much is was the role of, or is the role of the director, Gajendra ji, in the character? Like you did your improvisations, you were evolving
I
through
think
the character,
your
your role.
co-stars and of course the director is very important.
Mm,
And in our case, the
mm,
directors, even the screenplay writer, I mean,
mm,
author. I mean, he's
mhm,
written the script, the playwright, and so he is doubly important.
mm,
Your co-stars are important in helping you form your character, especially the ones you have your
mm,
scenes with. But I am being really bad. But finally, it's the actor on stage.
mhm, mhm.
Nobody
True,
is
true.
there. No, I mean, the
Mm,
actor is the king of the stage. Unlike
mm,
films where there's a director and an editor and they have total control. Once I'm on
mm.
stage,
Nobody can control you. Nobody is
that's
there with
really
you.
bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad, but yeah, that's how it is.
Okay. So have you ever had like any tips with the director? You want to do a
No,
certain thing in a certain way? No.
no, I'm totally a director's actor, both film and
Okay.
play,
Okay. Okay.
theater. Yeah.
And how was it? How was it collaborating with Anupam Kher ji?
He's the best. He is
Okay.
the best. And it's so
Hmm.
funny to say this because, one
Hmm.
day I turned around and told him, Anupam, I knew
Hmm.
you're nice, but I didn't imagine that you're so nice. And he is
Okay.
the best. You see what happens in theater, I'll tell you, and that I'm sure my husband and even my sons, all of us, of
Hmm.
different generations working together, and will agree that of course, this is not about Anupam. This is just a separate thing altogether that I'm saying. And it's not about this
Hmm.
play, it's just something separate. Is that,
Hmm.
like Aditya turns around and tells me that, I don't mind working with a lesser actor, but I can't work with a lesser human being.
Hmm.
You understand? Because there is, film karke nikal gaye. Here
Hmm.
you're there 3 hours before the show, you're doing rehearsals together, you're finishing the play, you're living that moment with the actors, you're
Hmm.
doing tours with the actor, you're traveling, like when we go, when we do our plays, like we did Shadi at Barbadi, we were like 1.5, 2 months in America. Like
Hmm.
Paresh did his play Dear Father, he did 50 shows in 51 days in 50 cities. I challenge you to do it with a bad actor along with you, a bad human
Hmm.
being. The other thing is,
Hmm.
there's one very nice thing which I noticed,
Hmm.
which it's personal. I don't know, maybe other people
Hmm.
have different things. But after a
Hmm.
film shoot, when they say pack up, you literally run. अब गाड़ी में
Okay.
मेकअप निकालूंगी चलेगा. When you
Hmm.
finished a play, you just hang on. shall we go for dinner? Shall we sit together? Shall we have a drink together? साथ में बैठते हैं ना. Okay, come on, I'm
mm,
dropping you. And thinking that if I drop her, then, I get half an hour to chat with her in the car. You understand?
mm.
That's the thing.
Why does it happen?
I think it's
It's a
because
huge
of the
difference
live.
between the two mediums.
One of the reasons is that because it's the actor's media, theater.
Mm,
The other thing
mm,
is it's live. You're going through all this with an audience and it's happening at the same time, right?
mm,
In films, it isn't like that. You're doing your own
mm,
clothes on your own. In
mm,
our film industry is not as nice as the others, I'm sorry to say, is that suddenly
mm,
you're doing your shots and the person you're talking to is not even bothered to be there for you. They don't do
mm,
that abroad, of course, but here they do,
mm,
sadly. And
mm,
then there's the edit. Your scenes get
mm,
cut, they will be there. There's a lot of waiting, and it's
mm.
different. I Now, if you say, so you like theater more than films, I will not agree with you. It's a
Okay.
different media. I love films. Acting for the
Mm,
film is different. Acting for the theater
mm,
is different. So this is what it
mm,
is.
mm. Maybe theater may you're working as a team.
Yeah.
In cinema, mostly you're working like
It's a
not
team, but
exactly
it's not a,
silos, but
yeah, exactly. It's
I
not
know.
a, you are working as a team, but
Uh,
that team is
but
not obviously there.
separately
Right.
as a
Yeah.
team, but separate compartments in that team.
Right. Yeah.
So, returning to theater, how does it feel?
Fabulous.
Hmm?
Fabulous. It feels so good
Hmm.
to be on stage. I
Hmm.
loved it. Of course,
And
I've been presenting papers on stage, I've been teaching and, doing
hmm.
workshops. So I am in front of an audience, but this is different.
But this is
That's
different.
Swaroop Sampat. This is Mrs. Desai. Swaroop
Yeah,
acting as Mrs. Desai. So it's another life.
yeah. Huh,
Yeah.
huh. Do you think that theater, like these days, is becoming bolder? Earlier, they
No.
never, no? Or theater has always been bold?
Yeah. Ghasiram Kotwal. And lots of theater.
Yeah.
If you saw Marathi, Gujarati doing it,
Hmm,
lots
hmm.
of stuff that were bold and
Huh,
different. Yeah.
huh. Always challenging the norms, always
Yes,
presenting a new
yeah,
version of. No? Okay,
yeah,
okay. And of all the places that you have performed as an actor,
yeah.
theater actor, which city, if you could pick up one or maybe two, uh, gives you the best audience, the participative audience?
It's so different. Like, of course, the Mumbai audience
Hmm.
is your audience, right? I
Okay.
mean, you live in Mumbai and the rest of the Mumbaikars are there. So that's a lovely audience. But, when we've done lots of plays in Gujarat and, places like that, and Ahmedabad
Hmm.
audience would be a little quieter and a little stuck
Tight-lipped.
up and intellectual. And Baroda audience would be fun. Surat audience is like crazy fun. Like they're out for fun, even if you're doing a serious
Okay.
play. Not that they're laughing, but
Hmm.
then they're absorbing the serious play. You know what I mean? They're
Hmm.
out for that
Hmm.
evening. So yeah, I think it's very difficult to say that because every audience is different, and that's the fun
Hmm.
about it. The play.
Hmm.
Like even when you're performing, say in London or in New York, and you say a
Hmm.
Boston audience is lovely, and
Hmm.
Phoenix being a smaller city compared to New York,
Hmm.
it's the audience is different together.
Hmm.
And yeah, so everywhere, like we performed in New Zealand, and it was so surprising because in New Zealand there were people who had gone long time back, and they still
Okay.
remembered Ye Jo Hai Zindagi and all, so they were like so
Hmm.
welcoming.
Yeah.
So
Who will
yeah,
not remember Ye Jo Hai Zindagi?
yes, so that's the
That
whole
was a.
point.
Hmm. Hmm. So,
No,
so
no,
you mean to
complete.
say that? So you mean
Yeah.
to say that wherever it is, the theater audience is participative, maybe in a different way from each other, but they are there.
Yes.
They respond to what is happening on
Yeah,
the stage.
it maybe it's the type of city and the grain of the city that is there. You know what I mean?
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
But it's super fun. Every city, the audiences are
Okay,
different because of the,
okay.
like, obviously you would, when you see a Mumbaiker or you see a Delhi person,
Hmm.
my Delhi friends
Different.
always say, you're so casual. And
Hmm,
they're never so casual. You know what I mean? Like my friend in
hmm.
Japan said, I'm not taking you out till you put lipstick.
Okay.
So, and in Mumbai, you don't even bother to put lipstick.
Hmm,
So
hmm,
that's what I mean. It's like
hmm.
everywhere it's different. Like some
Yeah.
people, some audiences don't laugh openly.
Okay.
They enjoy the
Hmm,
play, but there would be a giggle. It'll be a you go to Surat, they're like ha 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 ha, and like you suddenly think, oh my god, you know,
hmm,
it's such a good performance. But it's not that. The
hmm,
audiences,
hmm.
they have a different type.
Different reactions, but
Yes,
appreciative.
of course, yes.
Hmm. And
Or
how's
maybe not.
Delhi?
Delhi is fun, but I haven't performed in
Hmm,
Delhi for such a long time, and I really don't remember. I
hmm.
Let's meet again after the Delhi performance. I'll tell you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I would love to meet you. I would love
Yeah,
to meet you.
sure.
And so, what has Jaane Pehchaane Anjane taught you personally? Have you learned something?
It has reinforced.
Hmm,
I have some incredible friends. When
hmm,
I moved to Juhu from South Bombay, when I got married, I thought, oh my God, now I'll never have friends in my life. And I made the
hmm,
best friends here. And, like
hmm,
this lovely friend of mine called Urvashi. And
hmm,
I, I keep telling her that I can't imagine, one day without you. So it's kind of reinforced, friendships and
hmm,
companionships, and like how your friend is a little like your sister, and a
ah,
little like a friend, and a little like a teacher, and maybe
hmm.
like a dadima, and like, don't do this, you're doing this wrong.
Okay, okay. And what after this? You have three days. You have shows, no? Twenty
Yes, we
second,
have
23rd, and 24th.
fourth.
Hmm.
Yes.
So, are you taking the play to other cities
Oh yes, we
or?
got so many plays,
Hmm,
shows lined up in Calcutta,
hmm, okay,
and we have our America tour lined up, which we're going for
for the
nearly one
same.
and a half month. Yeah,
Okay,
September,
okay,
October in USA,
okay,
and
okay,
Australia's coming up, and I'm sure we do London
okay,
soon, and of course we'll do all the
okay,
other cities of like Bangalore, Indore, Baroda, Ahmedabad. We'll do all these
okay.
shows. Surat,
Hmm,
Pune.
okay.
Yeah,
All across India,
yeah, of
major
course.
cities across India. So that
Yes,
means
yeah.
it'll be Jaane Pehchaane
Actually,
Anjane for some time
any
now.
it doesn't have to be a major city, as far as it's a
Hmm,
city which has a theater.
hmm,
So, we've done
hmm,
shows in Junagadh and Jamnagar and
hmm,
Rajkot. Of course, Rajkot is major, but I'm just saying,
hmm,
smaller cities
hmm,
too. If there's a
hmm,
theater, Bhavnagar.
hmm, hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That means it is Jaane Pehchaane Anjane for quite some time now. Before you
Yes.
move on to maybe some next theater production, next
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
next character.
Yeah, I think so. For This is just
Hmm,
open. So I think at least for another one and a
hmm.
half, 2 years, I should not really think of anything. Let's see.
Okay. But isn't
Because you
that
can't do
long?
two play. Yeah, but then if you're
2 hours,
performing,
2 years.
we did Shadi at Barbadi.com for 4 years.
See, don't you get ever bored of
No.
portraying one character
That's the
again and
whole
again?
thing. That's the whole thing,
Hmm.
because you never get the same reaction from the audience, right?
Hmm.
So it's every day is a different show. But
Hmm.
one of the reasons I said that is because we've just opened. Now we have to cover the whole of India.
Hmm.
Then we'll have
Hmm.
Europe and America and New Zealand, Australia. We'll have Hong Kong, Singapore, East Africa, maybe if our luck's good. So at
Okay.
least we
अभी
did
ऐसा हाँ.
a Shadi at Barbadi in all these places.
Hmm.
We went up to St. Martin's, we did Europe, Antwerp, and all these
Hmm.
places. We did New Zealand, Australia, Thailand, Bangkok, Singapore, America. We did 4 tours of this one play.
Hmm. Oh
So
my God. So does it any time or has it any time happened that since you're playing one character again and again, uh, sometimes
do
you
you
feel
become the
no, it's
character?
not coming across,
Yeah, it
not
does.
become the
I told
character.
you,
Sometimes you feel it hasn't come across as
it
well.
does happen. It does happen because you're a human being and
Hmm.
sometimes you're out of sync.
Hmm. Hmm.
It does happen. It does happen.
Okay. So, Swarupji, as we come to an end, I would ask you, uh, what one advice would you like to give to an upcoming actor who wants to do only theater?
That I don't know. And I don't know what type of advice would
Mm,
I give
mm,
somebody who only wants to do theater.
mm.
I really don't know what advice to give any
Mm.
actor for that matter.
No, you're too
Yeah,
experienced. You have so much
yeah,
body of
no,
work behind you.
yeah, but what's the advice you would give? Like, I won't
Mm,
say perform
mm,
like this or perform like that. I would not, I would
mm,
only say choose your roles wisely. But having
mm,
said that, sometimes you do a play for, if you're getting a lot of money and it's got a great star cast in it. Sometimes you
mm,
do a play which is not probably, that iske 4-5 shows hi ho sakte hain. But then you want to
mm,
do it because your heart is in that character and that play.
mm,
So I
mm,
don't think there are any rules. So I don't think there's any advice I'd like to give. Just say enjoy yourself.
mm. Go with the heart.
Yeah, go with the heart.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, Swarupji, for talking to me, for sharing your thoughts. And I wish you all the best for all your shows
Thank you.
across the country, across the world, for as many years as you want this character,
Yeah,
as you want to
that's
take
right.
this character out, as many years. And I wish
Yeah.
you all the best. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
same
See ya.
here.